Chapter 2. A non-healing wound. Flashback. Hey Mom, you feeling okay? I asked worriedly. Yes, I'm okay, just a bit tired. Wanna help me make peanut butter sandwiches for the picnic? I happily walked into the kitchen and moved quickly up to her side. Her stomach was no longer flat, it was now poking outward like a sore thumb. Hey Mom, do you think that my baby sister might like playing with my toys and video games? I asked out of curiosity. Good question, I think she might love it. Hand me the peanut butter in the fridge while I untie the bread. I quickly got the peanut butter and handed it to Mom as I closed the fridge. As she was pasting the bread, she managed to slice one of her fingers with the knife, which caused her to hiss as she quickly placed her finger into her mouth. Mom, you okay? I asked, worried and frightened. I'm okay, honey, don't worry, just a little cut, nothing to worry about, she said calmly. Can I see it? She quickly went over to the sink as she washed it, then quickly walked over to me. See honey, all the blood is gone, just a small cut, she said, spotting me a quick smile as she showed me her finger. I quickly and gently took a hold of her finger and caressed it lightly, feeling the cut. Do you think the baby felt that, and is she hurt? Before answering, she looked down at my confused, worried face with a warm smile stretching from ear to ear. No Evan, she's fine, stop worrying, she didn't feel a thing, okay? Both Mom and Papa held my hands as we made our way towards the old oak tree. I instantly jerked my hands away as I ran towards the tree. I could hear Papa laughing from behind me as the wind blew in my ear. Once I got to the tree, I quickly turned around and saw Papa and Mom walking and laughing as they held hands. Hey Evan, come get the blanket, Papa yelled out towards me. I quickly raced back towards them and snatched the blanket from underneath his arm and then bolted back to the tree. As I laid the blanket on the ground, Mom and Papa finally came. Mom instantly rested the basket down on the blanket as both her and Papa gracefully sat down together. Hey Mom, may I have a napkin please? I have peanut butter on my elbow. She quickly nodded and turned towards the basket. How did you manage to get peanut butter all the way there? Papa asked with a silly, confused expression which made me giggle. Here you go, sweetie. As Mom handed me the napkin, I nodded thanks and quickly started to wipe off the peanut butter. Once done, I turned my arm to look at my elbow. Is all of it gone? Papa asked. I quickly glanced up at him with a smile. Yep, both him and Mom started to giggle at my silly expression. Give me the napkin, I'll throw it in the trash bag. As I leaned over to hand Mom the napkin, from the bottom of my eyes I noticed that there was a dark red hue on the napkin. What's wrong, dear? Mom asked, confused and worried, as I rechecked my elbow to make sure it wasn't bleeding. There's blood on the napkin, but my elbow isn't bleeding. With that said, Papa quickly got up and quickly leaned over to me as he held my arm gently. Well, you're not bleeding for sure. As Papa sat back down, Mom took the napkin from me. It's okay, dear, it's probably nothing, spotting me a smile as she placed the napkin in the bag. Wait a minute, Anna. Mom quickly turned her head to Papa. Huh, she looks at him, lost for a bit. Look there, your finger is bleeding, he said with a worried tone. Mom quickly looked down at her hands. Oh, it's the same finger I accidentally cut off a few hours ago when Evan and I were making the sandwiches. Silly me, I forgot to put a bandage on it, she responded innocently as she giggled. Honey, you have to be more careful, you're not supposed to be getting cut by anything, remember? Papa's face was completely washed over with worry. Mom quickly placed a palm on his face and used her thumb to wipe some bread crumbs off his cheek while showing him a warm smile. I'm fine, dear, and it was an accident, next time I'll be more careful. With that said, she gave him a kiss which made me turn slightly with a shiver. Let's get going, it's starting to get dark, Papa alerted us. I quickly started to pack the basket as Papa aided Mom onto her feet. Once done, Papa quickly took the basket from me as he held onto my hand. Mom quickly held onto the other as we walked back to the car. End of flashback. Before heading into the house, Dad and I noticed that the doorknob was broken off and the door was slightly open. What the hell happened to the door? Damn that little prick, Dad quickly responded as he pushed forward into the house. I followed him as he searched for the creature with his eyes. Damn it, where the hell are you? Impatiently Dad yelled, making his voice echo throughout the house. Suddenly we heard a thud coming from upstairs. I followed Dad as he angrily stormed the stairs. We quickly checked my room, he wasn't in there, so we pushed onward to the bathroom. With all his rage, Dad kicked in the closed door. My body went rigid the moment when I saw the creature lying on the floor, stretched out with tears in his eyes as blood trickled into his palm. "Please," he coughed as he spoke out his words. "Daddy, Evan, help me. I can't move, please help me." After a few more seconds my heart couldn't take anymore, so I quickly dashed out the bathroom. Why, oh God, why does he have to look so much like her? Suddenly I heard the door shut, which pulled me out of my thoughts of Mom. "No matter what you hear or what you think, don't go into that room. That thing killed my wife and your mother. Let the little fucker die." I felt my entire body shiver as I stared Dad in the eyes. "I'm very serious, Evan, and if you go in there you will be helping the beast that took away someone we both loved." "But, we are not killers, Dad," I managed to mutter out, but it came out as a whisper. "We're not doing anything. An accident is an accident. Go to your room and stay there. Everything will be okay and we will be happy family again." As I laid on my bed, I just couldn't help myself from staring at the creature's bed. If he dies, would both Dad and I be happy, or would it just be one is happy and the other stays the same? I just laid there thinking over and over about different outcomes that Dad and I may face. Quickly glancing at the clock on my nightstand, I noticed that a total of 2 hours had passed, and from the corner of my eye, I noticed it was now night time according to outside. I should go see what Dad is up to, is probably watching the sports news. Being that I was only in my underwear, I quickly grabbed the pair of shorts that was on the end of my bed. As I made my way down the stairs, I managed to hear Dad's voice coming from the kitchen. As I made my way over the kitchen entrance, once there I poked my head in to see who he was talking to. "Why the hell you still breathing, you bitch? Had to spoil everything, didn't you? Can't you just leave us alone and go die in a ditch somewhere?" My body became immobilized when I saw the creature there. A wave of frustration took over me, but yet a tear of relief managed to leave one of my eyes, which made me show a very confused expression. "What the hell?" I exploded, causing both Dad and the creature to jolt and then turn quickly towards me. "Look who got up. I can't deal with him anymore. I'm going out for a drink. You try and figure it out." Dad snapped out at me as he walked out the kitchen, passing me to go into the living room as he picks up the keys and his wallet. "Good luck." With that said, he quickly walked toward the front door. I could have felt the creature staring at me as I stared hard at the door as my mind raced. "Fuck this shit, I'm going back to bed." With that announcement, I instantly turned around without looking in the direction of the creature and quickly made my way back into my room, slamming the door shut. Bang slam bang, out of nowhere loud sounds came from downstairs that scared me out of my sleep. As I sat up on the bed panting, trying to calm myself down from the sudden blood rush to my head from my heart and vice versa. What the hell just happened? Did something fell downstairs? Suddenly another bang was made, and this time it was on my bedroom door. The sound sang throughout the room, which sent a shiver from my big toe to my spinal cord to my head and then back down. What the hell is going on? Is Dad so drunk that he's bouncing from wall to wall? About half a second to a minute or so, the door opens slightly and in walks the creature through the dark. "Were you the one that was making all that damn noise? Hurry up and get your ass into that bed, you fucking unwanted thing." With that said, I watched in the dark as he took off his clothes, unable to see his body his time, which was okay to me. Once he was in the bed, I quickly laid back down on my bed. It didn't take me long before I felt myself drifting into sleep again. I rose with sound of my alarm clock going off. As I stretched to hit the snooze button, I happened to glance over to the creature on his bed. He had the covers pulled over his head as his body was pinned to the wall. Underneath the covers he was in a fetal position. I wonder why he sleeps like that. If I did that I would stifle. I quickly got up from my bed as I shook my head to get rid of the thought. As I made my way out the room and into the hallway, I heard Dad's snoring as it vibrated through the air. He must be tired as hell. I wonder what he did last night besides drink. Not wanting to wake up him nor the creature, I easily made my way to the bathroom. As I stood there washing my hands, I noticed that the sink had a reddish hue ring inside of it near the drain. As I stared closer at it, it hit me that it was blood that stained the sink, which caused the water to be tainted with the hue as it spirals down. The creature probably tried to wash the blood off his hands. Once all the blood was gone, I quickly turned off the pipe and glided outside the door. "Morning, Evan, you okay?" I stared at Dad blankly before realizing he was standing right in front of me. "Evan." "Why yeah, sorry, morning. Kinda blanked out for a minute. You okay?" I managed to reply forcefully towards him, which made him look at me worriedly. Okay if you say so. Dad looked at me in a confused, unsure way. As we sat in the living room, both Dad and I enjoyed our Sunday football time, but just because we enjoy watching it together, that doesn't mean we both like the same teams. The Steelers 7 and Miami Dolphins 21, the sport announcer announced, causing me to gloat and Dad to sulk. What now, who's on top now, Mr. 14 points behind, I gloated happily in front of Dad. Keep quiet, it's still the first quarter, it's still anyone's game. His pouting expression made me burst out laughing, which caused him to giggle. As we sat there watching the television in mute as the commercials played, suddenly we heard a clash coming from the kitchen. Go see what's going on in there. Believe me when I say I'm in no mood to deal with it. With that said, I quickly got up with a sigh as I made my way into the kitchen. The moment I turned the corner to get behind the counter, I saw the creature lying there with a broke plate next to him. What the hell is wrong with you? He quickly jolted up with wide eyes as he looked into my angered face. I got dizzy when I tried to reach for a plate, I guess I kinda black out. He quickly bowed his head as he pulled his knees into his chest. You blacked out trying to reach a plate, how pitiful. Clean this shit up and once you're done take your ass back up into the room and stay there, I barked out harshly at him. But I'm hungry, he whined a bit as sadness filled his throat. I don't give a fuck, now you know not to break a plate. If you can't handle it then go kill yourself, you bitch. I quickly turned away from him as I walked back towards the living room. Touchdown! Screaming at the top of my lungs as I jumped up and down excitedly, it's 42-58, what now Dad, the championship is ours, shouting and laughing as Dad stared wickedly at the television and occasionally smiling when he looked at me rejoicing. I still have my other team, they're heading to the championships as well, so you better watch out, Dad said defensively. Who, Green Bay? I asked with a chuckle. Yep. That's a joke, they ain't got nothing, they barely made the season, they're in over their heads. As both Dad and I bickered on who has the best team, out in the distance I heard my phone ringing. Oh shoot, my phone is going off, be right back, it's upstairs. Okay, son. As I got closer to my bedroom door, the ringing stopped. Oh god damn it, I wonder who it could have been. Quickly opening the door and instantly managed to spot it on the bed, then dashed over to it and saw on the caller ID it was Hayden. Right away I tried to call him back, but the battery died. God damn it, instantly I jumped onto the bed to find the power cord. I normally leave it plugged into the wall. I instantly inserted the pin into the phone and flipped on the switch. Hey Evan, as I held the charging phone in my hand, I quickly turned onto my side to view the creature that had just called me. What bitch? I barked harshly as he kept his head down as he held onto a pink leathered book that had no cartoon characters depicted on the front like most of his books. Why, did you break your promise to her? His words came out timidly. Who is her? I looked at him confused and with a hint of irritation. My mommy. He quickly lifted his head up as water poured out his eyes. Why, you promised her that you would protect, care, and love, but you're actually doing the opposite. Am I just an open wound to you, that every time you see me you only remember the day she died and not the day when I was born? Immediately after his last word, so much rage took over me. Within a flash I felt myself no longer on the bed. As I held him in the throat, lifting him off the ground, I heard the sound of the book as it hit the floor, but it didn't take my attention off the creature that was in my grasp. I hate you, you have no right to call her that. I lifted him up to my eye level as my grip on his neck tightened. My promise was meant for a sister that I was supposed to have, but instead I got you. Instantly I contrasted my arm, then threw the creature out the bedroom and into the hallway hard. I watched as he hit his back hard against the wooden banister, then rolled out of view and down the stairs. I heard him hit each step as his body made a crackle sound every other step. What the hell is going on? I heard Dad as he came out of the living room. I stepped out of the bedroom to see if the creature was moving. I watched from the top of the stairs as the creature breathed heavily as his chest heaved up and down violently as blood trickled down his face. I slowly started to make my way downstairs as I watched Dad hovered over the creature. Let's take him to the hospital, Dad stated in a low tone. Wait, what? Why? I asked, confused. The idea of having him die in my house is no longer sitting well with me. He could die in the hospital. With that said, Dad quickly headed back into the living room to get his keys as I forcefully and harshly yanked the creature onto its feet as I guided it to the garage door. Once Dad and I were back home, I immediately ran back upstairs to my room to check my phone. As I got to the room, I noticed the book that the creature was holding onto was still on the floor. I quickly picked it up, then opened it once I had unplugged my charged phone. As I laid on my back against my pillow, I flipped through page after page to find one that was readable and one that wasn't damaged by old age or water spots. Finally, my luck may have it, I found a page that was readable. This must have been the page the creature was reading. He even dog-eared the page. I quickly flipped onto my stomach as I placed the book directly underneath my eyes. Dear Journal, I know it's been a while since I have written in you, but don't be mad, haha, for you see I'm with child again, and every day Evan and Josh has been at my side like the handsome soldiers they are. But besides that, Evan is so excited to meet his baby sister as well as Josh is excited to meet his daughter. But I have a feeling that even though the doctor said it's going to be a girl, I can't but help feel that it's going to be a cute baby boy. It wouldn't matter to me if it's a boy or girl, I would love my child regardless. I know Evan would love his younger brother as well. He always speaks so highly on how he's going to love and protect his baby sister. There's no doubt in my mind he wouldn't do the same if it happens to be a younger brother he gets instead. I couldn't manage to make out more of the words. It was either due to the water spots on the page or the amount of tears that had swelled up into my eyes. Why didn't she? She should have told us what she felt. Mom, I wished you was here with me. Please forgive me. As I sat in the hospital room near the window, I kept my head down as I stared into my palms. I can't believe I'm skipping school to sit in a hospital. I guess being that it was my fault, I guess I had no other choice. I sat quietly as I heard the heart monitor and the oxygen machine that were hooked up behind the creature's bed make noise. I slowly looked up at him. He had different types of suction cup-like stuff on his bare chest that were attached to a monitor as well as a clothespin-like thing on his finger. He had an oxygen tube that hung off the side of his mouth as well as an oxygen mask on his face. Even though he was covered up with the hospital blankets and with the hospital gown, his bruises could have been seen like a biker's tattoo. Tears started to roll out my eyes as I stared at him as flashes of Mom came to me. Suddenly the door opened and a tall doctor in all white stood there. Can I see you for a moment outside? As I got up, I felt a melting-like sensation in my stomach. As I made my way out the room, I saw two police officers standing behind the doctor. Follow me this way. I followed the doctor as he led the way down the hall with the two cops on either side of him. Not soon after, we came to a door which the doctor quickly opened and guided us into it as he held the door opened. Do you know or have noticed that your brother had bruises? I stared at the doctor, then at the two cops, then back towards the doctor. Yes, but he's clumsy. He's always falling all over the place. The doctor looked down at his hands that soon became fists. Did you know that your brother was anemic? I stared at him angrily and at the same time confused. No, and what does that mean? I asked calmly. It means that if he loses too much blood he would most likely die. I noticed that one of his fingers had a cut on it. I had to operate on it because it didn't heal properly, which caused it to stay an open wound, which could have caused an infection that could lead into a greater problem for him. I sat there as the tension in the room started to raise. Both cops were glaring at me as the doctor kept on asking questions as he also gave out medical tips. Why do your brother have punch and slap marks and big bruises on his body, and why is there finger marks and bruises around his neck? One of cops quickly asked, cutting off the doctor's questions towards me. I felt my stomach melt as my throat cringed inwards. Tears quickly filled my eyes as guilt and pressure took over. Please, we need to know what happened to him to help, and by the looks of it he may need a blood transfusion. I sat there dumbfounded as my mouth wouldn't open as tears began to pour out. I lost control over my actions. I whispered out, but it was loud enough to echo throughout the room as I sat there with my gaze towards my feet. What you mean, Evan? What happened? I slowly lifted my gaze as I looked at Kim as she stood in front of me, while Hayden and Max sat on the other side of the creature's bed. What did you tell the doctor and the cops? Kim asked firmly. Nothing. I couldn't move my lips. I just sat there like an idiot as tears ran down my face. I confessed bitterly to her. Then tell us. You don't have to worry with us. I could have felt Hayden and Mac gazed heavily at us. Before speaking, I uneasily shifted my weight on the chair. I pushed him out the room, causing him to hit the banister hard, which caused him to roll down the stairs. The room was quiet for a long time before Mac broke the silence. I don't know about Hayden or Kim, but I didn't even know you had a little brother. I would have loved to meet him when he was awake instead of dying. Same here, Hayden quickly added in as he and Mac exchanged sarcastic glances. Why, ugh how, ugh explain, Kim was lost for words as her cool was leaving her. I don't want you all to know, I stated softly. Why? I stared Kim hard in the eyes but quickly stopped when I saw that her face started to tick with anger. The creature was out of place. I quickly turned my face away from her as I whispered angrily. Say what? I didn't hear you, she asked confused. The creature was out of place, I whispered a little louder this time. What? Out of frustration she asked, the third time repeating it got me irritated, which caused me to quickly turn to her and blurt out. The fucking creature, pointing to him on the bed, was fucking out of place. With that said, I immediately felt a hard slap across my face that sent me flying off the chair and falling hard onto the floor. Kim, what the hell? Hayden questioned her as both Mac and him aided me off the floor. As I got up I felt a warm liquid running down my nose as it also spilled out of the corner of my eye. Dude, you're bleeding. Kim, what the hell is wrong with you? Mac questioned. What the hell wrong with me? Oh no bitches, this motherfucker almost killed his brother and there's something wrong with me, poking back and front with a steady finger. We're in a hospital that's full of doctors and nurses and that's also well equipped with medical tools. The bitch could get fixed when I'm done with him. I couldn't help myself as I broke down in front of my friends as I continued to spill my guts to them. Not us, you should be apologizing to Evan, it's him, he looks so tired and worn out, Max stated as he glanced over to the creature. I sniffled as I slowly made my way to him, pinching my nose to stop most of the bleeding. I know, and I will tell him the moment he gets up. We all waited in a small checkup room for the doctor to give us more details about the blood transfusion. Can't believe that Kim gave you 18 stitches, goddamn, Mac giggled to himself before he erupted with laughter, causing Hayden to join him. Kim just folded her arms as she glared softly yet wickedly at me, which made me nervous a bit. After a moment of friendly shade throwing and sarcastic puns, the doctor easily glided into the small room with us. Sorry to cut the fun, but the blood test is back as it shows that the young boy is type A. Does anyone here have the same blood type or have type O? We looked at each other confused and worried. Doctor, I don't know my blood type. None of us do, I think, Kim quickly aided Mac. Okay, come with me and we will get you all tested. As we headed down the hallway with the doctor, I couldn't help think, why everyone watching me? Do they know that I most killed my brother, and that I mistreated him, or I betrayed my mom by not keeping my promise? I walked aimlessly behind the group as my mind pondered off and on about the creature. Okay folks, wait inside this room and a nurse would be with you guys in a bit. With that said, he quickly opened the door. Once we were in the room, all four of us went and sat in the chairs, which had desks attached to them. I hope this works, and you better pray this works, cause if it doesn't you're going to be in a coma, believe that, Kim announced directly to me. Feeling nervous and guilty from her words, I just couldn't keep my head up, so I just slowly hung my head in shame. I did felt water building in my eyes again, but this time I controlled it long enough to keep my vision clear. What's taking them so long to do this stupid test? My blood might be dry by the time they come back, Max said, frustrated and impatiently. Luckily for you, if that happens at least you will know what's it like to listen to Kim's piano playing, Hayden jabbed Mac in the side with his elbow. And unluckily for you, if don't keep your mouth shut you're going to find out what happened to missing doll heads that's in my garage. Both Hayden and Mac froze as their mouths hung open as they stared point blank into Kim's face. Sorry for taking so long, I had to get the proper stuff and right people for the job, in walks the doctor as he was followed by 4 nurses. It's been 4 weeks and the creature still hasn't moved an inch. The transfusion was a success, thank goodness. It turned out that him and I share the same blood type. As the days passed I couldn't help but think that maybe we could have been a happy family and all the hurt and sadness would have never existed. Dad still thinks it's all the creature's fault. He didn't know that every day before and after school I would come to the hospital. Most times I would skip it completely. How am I going to explain this to Dad when the time comes to bring him home? Well, if I get the chance to bring him home. As I sat there pondering, suddenly there was a knock on the door. I quickly turned my head as the door slowly opened. The first thing that came in was a tray on wheels that had hair cutters, paper towels, and scissors on it. I guess one of the nurses is going to cut his hair, but he looks good with his hair like that. As I looked over to him and watched his hair, Unlike mine's, it didn't have afro qualities to it, it was curly and wavy just like Mom's. It hung down and trailed over his face perfectly. "Excuse me, ma'am." The nurse quickly turned to me as she released the handle of the tray. "Don't cut his hair, please, it's fine how it is." She gave me a warm smile before turning her full attention to me. "I'm sorry, my dear, but I have to." "Why?" I asked, confused as worry started to take over my face and voice. "I have to prepare him for surgery," she stated calmly. "What? What you mean surgery?" The blood transfusion was a success. She dropped her gaze, then lifted it back up. This time, the smile wasn't there. "Last night the boy had a seizure while in this state. The doctor that's taking care of him ran some tests and found out there is a pool of blood resting in the western hemisphere of his brain. Also, it showed that the mass of the pool is getting bigger." I sat there in shock as tears ran down my face and guilt took over me. The doctor was looking for a contact number, but apparently no one didn't given him one. I quickly and steady got up off the chair. "You can give him mine's." She pulled out a piece of paper out her pocket as she handed me her pen that was sticking out of her shirt pocket. "Tell him to call the moment this is all over." She quickly nodded as she gave me a sullen smile. "Here you go." "This is a cell phone number?" she asked gently. "Yeah." "Okay, would you like to give a home number?" she asked gently. "Sorry, but we don't have one. Sorry, I have to go, I'm already late for school." I quickly ran out the room as I picked up my bag that was on the floor near the chair. I didn't want her to start asking about Dad, especially a contact number for him. I sat in class waiting patiently for the bell to ring to move onward towards my last period of the day. Hayden sat behind me as Kim and Max sat on the opposite sides of me. "I'm guessing your phone didn't go off as yet," Kim stated, but wasn't looking at me. She had her gaze downward as she doodled on her arm. "No, I guess they're not done yet, or maybe they haven't began for some unknown reason." I tried hard to make myself sound rigid, but failed when she glared bull eyes at me. "Maybe the nurse is playing with him and forgot that she had to call you," Hayden toned in playfully. Mac giggled to himself as he watched Hayden. "He is a cute kid, maybe all the female nurses has turned into his angels and he's their Charlie." Both Hayden and Mac giggled and coughed hysterically at the statement. Not long after the bell rang, freeing us from the room, but the four of us were the last ones to leave the room due the teacher catching Hayden and Mac acting the fool. The moment I got out the door, I felt a vibration on my leg. "My phone is ringing." With that said, we quickly ran towards the nearest restroom. Being that Kim was with us, we quickly dashed into a handicap stall which was big enough to fit all four of us. It's now 7:30 at night and all of us sat in room with the creature as we waited for someone to come in, as we exchanged glances while taking the chance to watch him once in a while. "You know what, you guys, I'm getting snackish. Does anyone want something?" Mac asked the entire room. I quickly shook my head no, same as Kim. "I'll go with you, I could really use a Coke right now." Hayden got up as he and Mac easily made their way out the door. "Hey Evan, I'm sorry." I quickly glanced at Kim. "For what?" I asked calmly. "For how I reacted to you, but seeing him and knowing what happened, and at the same time knowing that you were one of the persons that did this to him, made me so angry to the point where I wanted to blow up everything." She hung her head as her words trailed off sadly. "It's okay, it's good to have a friend that's willing to whoop your ass when you're fucking up." She started to giggle as a blush ran across my face with an open smile. About 5 minutes had passed and Hayden and Mac hadn't returned yet. I wondered what's taking them so long? I asked, a bit annoyed. "Don't know, but I'm going to go find them. Stay here just in case someone comes." With that said, Kim quickly got up and walked out of the room. Alone with the creature, even though he was unconscious, I still felt uneasy. I quickly got up and made my way towards the window and I stared through it. If I jumped out the window, would I make it, or would I spout wings and fly away? I giggled to myself at the silly thought. Mom, huh? I quickly turned thinking it was my friends, but my smile quickly vanished as my eyes shoot wide open and my mouth gapped open.